Since I've started this channel, you guys have asked me two things all the time. Please make a cooking video and do fusion food. So today, you get it. We're gonna get in the kitchen together, and I'm really excited to share this with you. Make sure you watch to the end because, man, this is a really delicious one. Cello.
Chana Masala is amazing. From sweet to spicy to a little bit of sour, Chana Masala hits all of the chatpata that really makes it craveable. So what if we were to take Chana Masala and merge it with pizza? Would that even work? We're gonna find out today when we make Chana Masala pizza. Let's get Indian inspired. So let's get on with this pizza dough right away. We've got 275 grams of water going in, 400 grams of a high protein flour. I use 00 Caputo flour, 4 grams of yeast, 10 grams of salt, and you're gonna see me put about 8 grams of olive oil in this. So this pizza crust takes 3 days in the fridge to kind of slowly come together and develop its flavor. You'll want to give it that time. The good news is this is going to yield at least 2 crusts. So you'll use one for this recipe, and then let's be honest, who doesn't want pizza crust at will in the fridge whenever you want it? Exactly. So what we're doing here is we're just hydrating all of that beautiful high protein flour. And I'm kind of just starting to mix it all together into a shaggy mess. Get that off your fingers, it gets really sticky, and have some fun here. You know, all we're trying to do is get a nice rough dough, and you'll see that right there. Then you're gonna wanna knead it till all those gluten strands start to come together, and then when you're done, it's gonna start to come together, you'll feel it pretty good, and then just plop it in your fridge for about 3 days, and that's the pizza crust. You can see how the dough's starting to come together, and we're already all set and ready to go. Just put that in your fridge. 3 days later, you're ready to go. Next, put a wet paper towel down on your board, and bam, right on top of that, put your cutting board, and you're safely ready to start cutting some vegetables. For this Chana Masala recipe, we're going to use 1 whole red onion. Simply peel it, and we're going to do a nice rough chop there. Chana Masala is absolutely delicious. Not only is this great for pizza, but let's be honest, this and a bunch of rice can't go wrong. The good news is this recipe will yield you more than enough for the pizza, so you'll have some extra. So make sure to use that as leftovers. You're gonna love it. So after that onion, we're gonna do 1 plum tomato. Simply just take off the end and any parts that you don't want, and then we're just gonna give it a quick chop. The tomato in this is gonna break down slowly, and the tomato is gonna release a nice sweetness into the Chana Masala. Next, we're just gonna do a rough chop on some beautiful cilantro here. We're going to use this cilantro in a variety of different ways from the Chana Masala and also to top the pizza to give it a nice herbaceous kind of flavor to the pizza to finish it. After you're done chopping, just put that aside and you're ready to go. Then a couple of green chilies. That gives some heat and some beautiful flavor to it. Nice chop on those and throw those right aside again. And you can see all of our spices here. The entire recipe description is in the comments below, and you're gonna love this recipe. So let's start by heating about 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil into a pan and get that nice and hot. And to that, we're going to add some beautiful jeera or cumin seeds. And I use about a tablespoon of cumin seed here. So once those cumin seeds are popping, you're going to add in your onion, and we're going to start to give that a stir. So whenever you're making chana masala, you don't want to over fry the onions. You want to get them about translucent until they start to get on the brown side. There's some sweetness in this dish and you don't want to overdo it here, but I like to get them a little, right till they start caramelizing. You can see here that the onions are starting to get translucent. They still got a little ways to go, but that smell of the onions with the oil and the jeera is absolutely fantastic. Make sure you keep stirring so that you don't burn the onions. This is very important. Next, I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of ginger and garlic paste. And I want to stir that. That smell gets released immediately. And into that, there's our chilies. I'm going to stir that around. Again, you want to keep stirring here. You cannot burn your spices or you ruin the dish. And then I add my tomatoes, as you see there. They're starting to soften a bit, and that's what I'm looking to do. From there, I add haldi or turmeric and a little bit of coriander, a little bit of brown sugar and salt, and stir away. Next up, the chana or chickpeas. I use about 2 cups of chickpeas here, and I want to stir this really, really good. Again, scraping the bottom. Now I'm going to add water just to cover the whole thing. And that's going to let this whole thing start to come together. All that fragrant spices, all the flavors are just starting to get released. Now that I'm done stirring for a bit, I'm going to put a cover on and I'm going to let that simmer for about 3 to 4 minutes. After 3 or 4 minutes, let's give it a nice stir and you're going to start to see it thicken. So we're going to keep stirring it, cover off for at least 2 to 3 minutes, and you're going to start to see the gravy develop. The other thing I'm doing here is pushing on the back of my spoon to break the chana a bit. The reason I want to do this is I want to get this thicker than I normally would for chana masala because we're using it as a pizza topping. It smells incredible, and this is so good. So let's get that pizza all set. So whenever I use pizza dough, I want to make sure that sits out for at least 2 hours to get warm and to get room temperature. And you're going to start slowly kneading it out and forming a circle. You can see how my fingers push everything to the outside to start to make a crust. Now using my knuckles and my fingers, I'm pushing the crust away and turning slightly. What this is doing is it's stretching the gluten and it's starting to relax everything and form that oval and circular shape that we want for the pizza. And we're going to keep doing this nice and gently. I'll work it again using that crust, stretching the dough. Take some time here because this is a really important process. Again, you'll see my knuckles just moving that dough. Perfect. And now we start to see that beautiful pizza shape that we love. So for this, I'm using a cast iron method. The reason I love the cast iron is it gets really, really hot. So make sure you oil the cast iron pan well, put the pizza in, and now I'm gonna form that crust. Once again, you're gonna see my fingers pushing on the outside to form that crust just like this. Since we've worked this a lot, we want to start popping a lot of little holes in there with a fork so that the middle doesn't overproof. And then after we're done this, we're going to let this pizza just hang out for 30 minutes. There's Maggie just waiting and smelling what's going on in the kitchen. Say what's up, everyone. Next, while we're waiting, let's chop an onion. And what we want to do here is we want really thin slices. This is going to top the pizza and give it another beautiful, beautiful taste. I like to save a lot of my onion pieces for stocks that I use for a variety of different things. But again, with this onion, really thin pieces, and you're gonna see we just want to top the pizza. Next, I use buffalo mozzarella. Buffalo mozzarella is made from a buffalo milk, and it is really, really tasty. I absolutely love this on top of the chana masala. Now that we're proofed, let's take the chana masala and spread it nice and evenly over the pizza dough. You'll see how we have a nice thick gravy there, which is acting as the sauce, but also some beautiful pieces of chana that still remain whole. We want a nice even layer here. And next we're going to top that with the buffalo mozzarella. This is looking good already, huh? And finally, we want to throw some of those beautiful onion strips, that nice red onion on there. Again, we want them nice and thin. They're going to kind of crisp up as the oven goes a little crazy here. And right now, you want to preheat your oven to 500 degrees. 500 is really where I always bake in cast iron for pizza. Gives a nice char to it. And I want to use some of the cilantro, save some for after. I use a little bit on there and then finally dust it with salt. 500 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Check your oven's temp, check, and make sure you're not burning. And then finally, when it comes out, you have this gorgeous chana masala pizza. The crust is beautiful. It tastes absolutely amazing. I cannot recommend this enough. Once you let it cool for a bit, you're going to see it slides right out because cast iron is the greatest thing in the world. And we're going to let that cool for a couple more minutes till we cut in. And you guys have a fantastic chana masala pizza. As always, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, stay Indian inspired.